film Jacked is about two young car thieves. They steal a car and they find audio recordings in the car. And Thomas, who's playing Waylon, wants to return the car. And Charley Rothwell, who plays Russell, he wants to deliver the car and cash the money. So the conflict is really between like Thomas wants to bring back the car and Charley wants to deliver the car and cash the money. That's in a nutshell the film. I think what's interesting about it is that if you know Thomas Turgoose's background, his mom died of cancer, and that obviously relates to him the fact that he wants to return the car. The audio recordings are from a dying man who has 4 months to live, and his wife is pregnant, so he wants to leave a legacy. He records an audio diary for his unborn child. And he records on tapes, and that's what they find in the car. And they're listening to it.
Well,
yeah, that's a lot of information. I'm happy to tell it again if you need to.
Well, I have to admit, it sounds absolutely wonderful. Can you tell me a little bit what inspired you to sort of like want to create this story?
Well, it's a very personal story to me, and I'm not really proud to say this, but I grew up in a gritty neighborhood in Holland where I saw a lot of cars been stolen. Friends of mine stole cars for joyriding, and I know the ins and outs. So for me, it was very important to stay truth to this story. But I always wanted to tell a story about car thieves, but that was never enough. I needed something else, and when I got the news that my father had 4 months to live, I felt there was something that I could connect that story into the story with the car thieves, and then I have something more serious. Because most of the time, a story about car thieves are kind of funny and comedic, and I didn't really want that. I wanted to, also knowing that world, I wanted to tell something serious. And in a way, it's also the film is an apology to the car owners. Nobody really thinks about them. Like for them, it's horrible that they come to the parking or whatever, and the car is gone. And sometimes you have really emotional. The car could be a very emotional vehicle or product for you as well, ownership. But sometimes there's something in the car that you have an emotional attachment to. And in this case, it's audio cassettes. There's an audio diary of this dying man.
You obviously got your mum's looks. It's like a pork scratching.
We take this car back. Wait, what are you doing? We take it back and we get another car.
Thomas was on board really quickly. He read the script. He gets scripts daily, and I was very pleased that he loved the script. As I said, like he felt very connected to the script because his mom died of cancer, and which is the same as the dying man who, for the audio recordings, he's dying from lung cancer. So there was a connection there. To be honest, like I don't know much about. 2 years ago I arrived in London, and I'm not so aware of the British cinema, and a friend of mine told me like you have to watch This Is England, and I did, and I fell in love with Sean, the main character played by Thomas Turgoose, and I really loved that film. So when I was writing the script and everything was done and ready to go, I really wanted Thomas for the part. So he was my first choice, and he got quickly on board. So I was very happy with, but I wrote a script for him to drive a car, and sounds very stupid, but not so long before shooting, I realized that he didn't have a driver's license. So I needed to rewrite the script quickly for him to be in the passenger seat and find an actor that can actually drive a 4x4 Jeep, because that was the main hero car of the film, was a 4x4 Jeep. And Charley came on the radar, and luckily he had a driver's license as well. And after a good lunch with him, I thought like, okay, this is the right guy. Because Charley grew up in Bethnal Green, and we related really to the content of the story as well. He has a little bit of a dodgy background, the same as Thomas Turgoose and the same as me. So we all really connected, and we became instant friends actually after.
As with any film that's made in this day and age, obviously it's all about trying to find funding and ensure that you've got enough capital to make the vision that you want to see on screen. How have you been able to achieve that?
Yeah, well, luckily my script got chosen for Film London. There were like 600 scripts that they received. I sent them out as well, and then they picked my script to fund. So the film is partly funded by Film London, and the other half is Indiegogo, like a crowdfunding campaign. And on top of that, I was lucky enough that my producer, Jennifer Eriksson, works for a post-production company. So they were happy to do all the post on it for a very, very good deal. A very, very good deal.
It's all about who you know. And lastly, obviously, can you tell us a little bit about the shooting schedule for it? I mean, how long did it roughly take to achieve all this?
Well, we had 3 days. I wanted 4, but it was just a budget thing. We would never be able to shoot 4 days. So we had 3 days, shooting mainly in the car. 70% of the film is in the car, and it was 7 pages per day, which is quite a lot. So it was intense 3 shooting days in London, because we had several locations: Hackney, Battersea Power Plant, Southall, quite all stretch over London. That was tough, but luckily everything went really well. And I have to say that's a good thing with Thomas Turgoose. He has so much energy, and he's a big entertainer. So he entertains the crew, so they don't get tired. And I was really happy with that, because he makes jokes all the time. He's very funny, and the crew is very happy. And that helped me a lot. So it helped me a lot. Like
Keeps the energies high and the
very high, and everybody enjoyed it. Like and I remember at the last hour, the very end of the shoot, like everybody was kind of a bit disappointed, like, it's over. Seriously, and that definitely was a very good sign, of course. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've had a wonderful experience. You've made a lot of nice friends and new work colleagues, and I wish you all the best for the BFI London Film Festival.